Hey Catgangers, Deva here with another exciting video. Today I will teach you how to efficiently farm Safi'jiiva in a single run, but as well getting all Partbreaks. For that of course you will need specific builds for the best and easiest results. I will guide you from area 1 to area 3, teach you how to save time in all areas so you have a bigger window to break all the parts and finish Safi off in area 3. In all honest, it's not hard at all, it just takes the right strategy, the right order of part breaks and of course efficient builds. The hardest part about that will be to get 3 friends because you definitely do need voice chat communication. I will not go in depth on the builds but just quickly display them and explain on how or which area you should use them. You can pause the video and save the build if it's too fast for you. It doesn't have to be 100% the same builds, but at least all the important skills and also give you an image of what you're aiming for in the future to start getting more and more efficient runs. You will definitely not be able to copy paste all builds one of one since they're completely optimized and endgame builds, but it makes no sense showing you builds that are not optimized. So your goal is to at least build them as close as possible and they still will do their job. Safi'jiiva full energy kill is definitely not that tight with a coordinated team. There is a bunch of 7-minute kills with full energy, so on a decent run once you get used to it you will end up every time with 15 minutes and most of the power breaks if not all. Here is some pre-fight info. The first thing you wanna do is prepare your basic loadouts. This will be the items minus the ammo types on specific builds, which I will show later. So you should have max potions and recrafting items for them with you to instant heal and of course life powder just in case someone gets grabbed by Safi, and you know without blight resistance you will just burn to death since it leaves you at 1 HP and you have fire blight on after the big grab laser beam. Demon Drug Seed and Powder is a huge damage increase during the whole hunt, so you should definitely just keep rebuffing every time you have time. Poison Bombs can reduce its HP, but I would not overdo it with them because lower HP means it gets much tighter for breaking Safi's part. Farcaster is also a must use item because you will most likely have to restock or will need to return to camp, and there is no other way than dying or Safi leaving the area if you forget Farcaster. Well, you could use smoke bombs and fly back to camp, but that would ruin the purpose of a Farcaster. Flashpots and recrafting, and everyone should have them equipped because you can flash Safi'jiiva down and cancel out Novas. This will save you huge animation time. Bombs so you can bomb Safi during a sleep CC and do focus damage to either her head or chest in area 3, which are most likely the hardest parts to break. It always for safeguard and insurance if it's a daily skill, so you have 1 to 2 more cards available. It's also great if you know that there will be cards to use the skill Fortify. This skill increases your damage by 10% every time you die and 15% your defense. So dying would actually be a benefit for the hunt since you gain an insane boost on your stats. Be sure to use it on all your builds if you're going for it, because if you switch to another build without Fortify you will lose it even if you switch back to Fortify. So all builds that you're supposed to use on all areas should have Fortify if you want to go for Fortify. Here is some basic info about Safi'jiiva. Safi'jiiva has only 40,000 HP, which is ridiculously low compared to any other monster in the game, assuming you play not solo. He has very bad Hitzonevalues, weakness exploit does not work on ranged weapons, has equal elements, and every part takes 30% less damage till you break it. So you're basically dealing way less damage on him than on regular monsters, which already extends the hunt even if the HP isn't that high. If you want to know more about Safi'jiiva and his Hitzonevalues, be sure to join our Discord server, which I will link down in the description, and there we have a nice bot that shows you all Hitzonevalues of all monsters. If you don't know what Hitzonevalues are, here is a simple and short explanation video which I will link also in the description, and you can check it out so you have a better understanding of how damage works in Monster Hunter. Another problem is when Safi drains energy from the ground, he does heal up 14,000 HP every single time on area 2 and 3, which will end up being on a decent run about 170,000 HP you will have to deal in total on a single siege run. So the main goal for this siege is to simply do a shitload of damage. Another problem is that when Safi'jiiva is draining energy, it recovers some part HP. This is why it's important to focus on breaking one part once you start damaging it, so you can manage to finish that part off before she keeps draining and healing that part, else it will just never break. Here is a list of the HP for every single part. The head can be broken 2 times, so the first time is 13k HP and another 13k to completely break it. The chest has 7000 HP, the wings have each 4200, the back has 500 HP, which is ridiculously low and can be just broken by simply doing a mount finisher, so just jumping on Safi, mounting him and doing the finisher on her back. Tail has a 20,000 HP, which is a shitload of HP, but can be done by a single guy and is really not that hard when using Greatsword, because the Greatsword has a huge power breaking modifier, which I will explain later in the video. Each foreleg has 18,000 HP, but finishing the siege without breaking one of them or both of them and having all other parts broken, it's not that important since they don't give much points, so it's really not that bad if you don't manage to break them since they're so hard to break, but with this guide you should definitely break them. Also the back legs have only 8750 HP. Now that you have your base loadout ready and know a few stuff about Safi, let's move to Area 1 strat. You can completely skip Area 1 by just over damaging Safi with a specific technique or strategy that you will reach the HP threshold and trigger her mechanic to move. Else it's just time and energy drain based, which can waste easily up to 5 minutes just for Area 1, causing the run already to be really tight. But it's not necessary, so please don't worry if you can't pull this off. Every time Safi heals in Area 1, he will get fully healed and goes back up to 40,000 HP. Your goal now is to deal enough damage to reach that HP threshold that causes Safi'jiiva to move area before he drains energy. So the best strategy to do that is to move him into the trap, and right when he gets out of it to chain up the boulder drop. This is a 40-second knockdown which allows you to get the damage you need on him. You can move Safi'jiiva by simply flinching the back legs. The most efficient weapon for this is the Adept Stormslinger, since it has some brutal burst damage. Here is the build for it, and you have to augment for health regeneration, else the Safi set bonus will kill you. For mods, all you have to use is one long barrel and one power source, since you don't need to shoot other bullets than special ammo unless you don't manage to skip the hunt, else then just continue using thunder ammo. There is only one part breaker on the build because you're supposed to use the other two on the Wager Mantle, which lasts long enough for the whole Area 1, else just drop some raw damage like Resentment and fit it in. It's sadly only PS4 exclusive weapon, but not necessary at all if you don't have it. You can also use Blastbow, which is the second most efficient weapon and can be really easy to get the first few 600 damage blasts, causing him to also flinch quickly. The threshold after that will of course increase, so you will be getting less and less blasts. You can also do this with any weapon in the game as long as all 4 players are focusing on the left back leg. You really don't have to copy this guide 101. Just this is the most efficient way, and when I'm teaching you something I want to show you the best way to do it. From there on you can do your best and do it as close as possible, or develop your own most comfortable strategy. The only problem here is if Safi turns around, it's over, since he won't be on the right position to drop the boulder. You can avoid that turning by simply flashing him, but I will definitely do it after dodging his roar and activating Evasion Mantle. Everyone should just roll the first roar with it, so you have an easier time to move him to the trap, since evasion boost is a 30% more raw damage boost. You will have to flinch him a total of 3 times, which takes 10 seconds with Adept Stormslinger and about 20 with other weapons. It's really important that all 4 players go for it. You really need communication there. The right way to use Adept Stormslinger is to just do it as in the footage, letting the last 2 charge levels drop and shooting the 2 bullets again, This is not only the most efficient DPS for these weapons, but will also drain your meter way slower and not giving you that stupid knockback animation wasting time. In case you overcharge, don't shoot, you will be left at 1 HP and any shot will kill you since you're using the Safi set bonus which damages you every time you shoot or do an attack. So just use a max potion and heal yourself up because it takes some practice to pull this off. This build simply doesn't need health boost, but all the following ones will include health boost 3 for the sake of not getting 1 or 2 shot, and in case you need some extra comfort, feel free to use it, guys. When Safi'jiiva falls in the trap, the legs should be close to breaking so the 3 people can focus on another part, and I would highly recommend to go for the head since it's the toughest part and has to double break. It has 13k HP and another 13k for the second raid, of course. Now, one guy has to perfectly throw the boulder down while Safi is getting out of the trap. Not before and not after. It's basically cancelling out Safi wanting to flying back to his spot and heal his HP back up by draining energy. Now, this takes a few tries to master but works 100% of the time, and you can either do it by counting 19 seconds after Safi falls in the trap, or simply what I'm doing is just paying attention on her back leg. The moment it starts going out of the trap, you immediately turn around and shoot the boulder. The window isn't really that tight, it's about 2 to 3 seconds. The boulder will hit the wing and knock Safi'jiiva over. Now you have another 20 seconds to go full out on him and try breaking or just damaging the head. One guy should poison and immediately when it's down with 2 poison bombs, so you guarantee Safi moving area just in case you miss some damage, and then help the other guys breaking the head, of course. Safi is going to drain energy when he gets up, which brings him back to 40k HP again and move to area 2 if you did enough damage. It's really okay if he doesn't move because you missed the boulder. If you find it hard going for these strats, just use 4 elemental ammo LPGs and go full out with those on the fore and back legs in area 1, basically just stealing damage and shooting the legs. It's about the same thing, guys. Please, I don't wanna see any comments saying I can't do this and I can't do that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not that tight. We finally reach area 2 now. While Safi'jiiva is leaving, you can use the time to restock all your items and change builds to area 2 builds. You should have by now at least 1 or 2 breaks. The builds for area 2 you should use are 4 aqua shots with elemental ammo. If you haven't dropped it yet, no problem, you will have a little bit less damage, but you can use the Bio Shooter LBG build and the Rajang Sticky build. Augment it for 2 attack and 1 element. Upgrades must be 3 attack, 1 elemental capacity for a bigger clip size and 1 recoil suppressor. On Bogan mods, 3 additional recoil suppressor to nullify it and also 1 reload mode so you can reload very fast while walking and don't have to stop. If you're confident with stopping while reloading, it's about the same time, it's actually exactly the same time, you just stop. Then you can use Power Barrel, which increases the damage by giving you more piercing ticks. I say it again because some people don't get it. Safi armor is far superior over True Crit Element for light bowguns, especially since elemental ammo does scale mostly off raw damage. The damage numbers you see when shooting water armor are totally not 100% elemental damage, so you gain a big boost from raw damage on elemental ammo. For this area, your item loadout should have in addition water ammo and Flowfern, of course, to be able to recraft ammo. Even though your light bowgun has paralysis and sleep, please do not use those until area 3 during critical state. I covered the non-Safi builds on my previous videos, so be sure to check it out for more in-depth info. In case you don't have them, I will link them down in the description. The guy who is dealing the most damage will get the enmity, that's the red line like on Behemoth, and should have temporal mantle on because he will have a harder time getting hunted by Safi. His best option is to shoot the forelegs in such a way that the bullets go also to the back legs. Please do not rotate around and simply just move backwards. It will make it impossible for other players to hit if you have enmity, since Safi is going to turn around and go for you every time. The other 3 guys should focus on breaking the 2 wings and the head only once, and then assist the enmity guy breaking the other 3 legs. The best way to efficiently go for the wings is to have a grid angle for the head so you can also damage the head and have an efficient bullet range. Safi'jiiva will clagger once in a while. Clagger is the dual effect that they added in Iceborne that you're supposed to grapple on monsters. A lot of people ignore that and keep shooting. It's the biggest opening in the game and one of the best DPS gains in Iceborne for team hunts if people would just clutch claw on the monsters during that animation, which extends it for another few seconds. It's not even about tenderizing on this point. Safi or any monster will stand completely still for about 7 seconds in total since you're extending it, and you can get perfectly aligned hits. Everyone should always have flash pots equipped because Safi'jiiva tries to fly up, and you can cancel the Nova, which will save a lot of animation time and can skip the energy drain. You can flash Safi 2 times about every 5 minutes. So the second Nova on that area, your only way to cancel it is to just keep shooting at his back legs and dunking him 2 times. To be honest, that's not really hard. You've probably seen a lot of videos of how easy and how often it can happen back to back. You just need a shitload of damage. If you manage to break all 4 legs and the 2 wings before he leaves area 2, your next target is to go full out on the head. If not, the guy who will be the aqua shot guy, he continues on area 3 till he gets all the legs on himself. The one guy that uses sticky ammo on area 3 focuses on the head and gets assisted later. So when Safi finally moves again, go back to camp, restock, buff yourselves and switch to area 3 builds. The builds for this area will be 1 aqua shot, which is mainly there for damage or breaking the remaining legs, doing the paralysis, sleep and having enmity so people can focus on other parts. The elemental LBG guy will always have the enmity since it's by far the highest DPS against Safi. The second guy will have the aqua shot sticky build and try to completely break the head on his own, but also seals the whole team with free KOs. Peak performance level 3 plus 1 attack is already the raw capacity of what stickies can reach, assuming you ate for the Feline Bombardier, which you should always eat for the canteen if you're playing stickies, and there's gonna be for sure someone that uses voucher in a 16-man lobby if you have not enough watchers. And you also need to use Demon Drag Seed and Powder of course to reach that cap. Feline Bombardier is a total of 15% damage increase, it's huge. Augments will be 1 attack and 1 health regeneration of course, since stickies give you compared to other ammo types a big chunk of health back and keep peak performance up. Mods are 4 times attack and 1 Nargacuga essence to receive the skill True Razor Sharp in combination with Artillery Secret. Bowgun mods are 2 recoil suppressor to completely nullify the recoil and 2 avoiding reload, so you can just double tap the dodge button to fill up your whole clip with 2 bullets. Thanks to the skill True Razor Sharp, you will be able to shoot way more than 2 bullets on average. If you don't have an aqua shot, you can use a Rajang sticky build, which is quite less comfortable to recoil, but still an option since it's almost the same damage. Don't forget to pick recrafting materials for sticky ammo level 3 of course. So you're basically taking sticky level 1, gunpowder 3 and blast nuts to be able to recraft more level 3 ammo. The third guy will be a greatsword guy and he can easily cut the tail on his own. So his job for is now to just focus on the tail. He can also get a mount and do the mount finisher on the back to break it if it didn't randomly break it while shooting the wings. The back has only 525 HP, which is incredibly low. The KOs, drains, paralysis and a huge wake up hit on the tail is way more than enough to cut the tail. A greatsword has built-in 70% Partbreaker, which means with a Partbreaker build, the true charged slash deals double the damage on a part than what you see on your screen, since Partbreaker damage is not actual real damage, just damage towards part, and therefore it's not a visible number. It's by far the best part breaking weapon in the game and nothing comes close to it. Partbreaker does count towards tail cuts if it's a cut type weapon. Once the greatsword player gets a tail cut, he should go and assist breaking the chest and the head. The fourth guy can either be a pro GS player that can snipe the chest, which I do not recommend if you haven't played greatsword before. else just use a brain dead spread 3 build with special scope, which increases your damage by 30% on critical rage and completely demolishes the chest on your own. For mods, use at least 3 close range since it's intense damage increase, and the other one can be shield. I'm sure you will need shield. Upgrades should be spread capacity 3 attack and 1 recoil suppressor. If you don't have the Safi burst cannon yet, just use the basic Sinogre spread build. I'm sure there is a shitload of them on YouTube, and slap some Partbreaker in. And yes, weakness exploit does work on Safi's head and chest only when it's in critical state, since the Hitzonevalues increase drastically when Safi enters critical states. Basically they go over 45, and every Hitzonevalue that is 45 is considered a weak spot. Depending on the parts you already broke, try helping other guys with the parts without too unnecessary deal damage on already broken parts, since you don't wanna kill it before you broke all the parts. To be honest, it's not a big deal if you miss even 2 parts. You will get slightly less rewards, so you better just get a single full energy run and get within an hour 3 complete kills than a single full energy Partbreak session and a tiny bit more rewards, which wasted 3 runs for getting a few more Dracolites. So here is some notes on what to do and what not to do in area 3, and then we have completed your Safi'jiiva energy all Partbreaks training, and I'm actually slowly dying because this video is so long. There is 3 traps on the map on which is coming a kind of green fire out of the ground. So the guys with enmity should lure Safi there, but be careful to not shoot while standing on the trap. It will trigger it, since it gets just triggered by shooting while you're on top of it or doing any attack. Take your time while moving towards the trap and efficiently continue shooting at Safi. This trap will not only do 1000 damage, but also getting a 3rd trap will give Safi a knockout. Be sure to not do it within the roof beam or draining animations, since like I mentioned before, Safi will not get affected by any flinches or status while being in animations. That applies to any monster in the game. It takes 4 paralysis level 2 bullets to para Safi. Be sure to only use para if Safi is in crit state or want to cancel his supernova, so you win time, but as well keeping him on crit state is extremely important. If you're insecure with paralyzing it while his flight, just flash it down. It takes 5 level 2 sleep bullets to sleep Safi. Use sleep to place bombs and mines on the chest or the head, depending on how your current progress on Partbreaks is. And also let the Greatsword guy get the wake up hit, since it's going to double the damage, so a 2500 true charge slash on the tail plus the 100% Partbreaker that the Greatsword has will deal 5000 part-breaking damage on the tail in a single hit. The tail has 20,000 HP, so you already secured a quarter of the damage you need to sever it. Status in Monster Hunter does decay, so if you shoot 3 power bullets to have it prepared and some time passes, the 4th bullet will not paralyze, so if you really wanna prepare to 1 bullet paralyze when he tries to fly, you can shoot it during the roof beam animation where the rock drops. Monsters are absolutely immune during animations to any kind of CC, but status still builds up, so it's a good way to just go. If you're insecure of how close the paralysis is come, just keep shooting paralysis bullets on him. It won't paralyze as long as he's in that animation code. If you're missing Partbreaks, don't throw poison bombs yet or do unnecessary damage to already broken parts, since it will reduce the Safi's HP but not deal any part damage. If you broke already all the parts, of course, you just want to kill it. With this setup and builds, killing Safi on a single run siege is really not a thing. The damage is more than enough at this point, and we're just looking to also get as many Partbreaks as possible. And congratulations, you have all the info you need to kill Safi'jiiva in a single run with full Partbreaks. Like I mentioned before, even if you don't get all Partbreaks, it's still way more efficient to just kill him every 15 minutes and grab the rewards multiple times. Full Partbreaks make really not a big difference in comparison of how much effort you have to put to get that one final part missing, and most likely you will fail it. So hope you all enjoyed this guide and having after this a better image of how Safi'jiiva works. It took me a lot of days to make and record this video, so I will appreciate very much if you support and share it around. You can trust this info 100%. We have done a lot of Safi runs. We are holding currently the world record of 6 minutes and 50 seconds. So yeah, like I said, you don't have to use the exact same builds, but just fairly close to still have enough damage. Ranged weapons are simply by far the most efficient, since melee weapons have only short range and Safi moves a lot, but feel free to use whatever you want. For any further questions, please be sure to join our Discord server, since it's a way better than having to go back and forth on the comment section. And you can also check all the Safi'jiiva Hitzonevalues, so you know with what weapon where to hit if you're not following this guide. If you want to support me, please leave a like on this video and comment down below what you want to see next from me. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more guides, builds and speedrun videos. With that said, I'm completely exhausted and I wish you all a nice day and happy hunting, guys. Don't forget